solo. Want my love, baby, earn it. Yeah, dancing on my own. See if you can follow. Got me feeling alive. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. 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 I want. Hear me now. I do what I want. Are you ready now? 'Cause it won't be easy. Only get what you work for. Gotta go all out. Whenever you see me, don't be wasting my time. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. 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 Hear me now. Watch me go, lose control. Is this real? All I feel. Break the signs. Every time let's be real, be real, be real. I do what I want. I do what I want.
Good morning. What's new, pussycat?
I'm back. Oh my God, what kind of timing is this? SoFlo on the scene reporting. Thank you, girl. I looked over and saw your big red signs. Verdict. I've got it pulled up. Stand by. Long crime. Please don't strike a bitch. Okay, it says verdict will be read shortly. I don't know what shortly is, but I'm sure. I do believe all the lawyers were in the courtroom working, so, and family members as well. So I don't think any delay is probably just going to be in them getting Crumbly back, oh boy, back into her seat, unshackled. Okay, so y'all can hear me now, right? Just one person put a 1, as long as you can hear me. All I did was I unplugged my where the mic is hardwired into some other, I don't know. I did a Hail Mary. I pulled the plug out and plugged it back in. Okay, good. Hi, Rapper. All right, kids. Let me share the screen and stand by, and then I'll go back to what we were talking about. God, I wonder if I should find this on another. I'm gonna full screen it. I think I've got the audio all the way up. Yep. Okay, this is going to sound so bizarre. It's almost embarrassing to even say. And I know I'm not the only one. And this has happened for as long as I've been watching trials. my heart, like the closer it gets, the more it's like I'm waiting my fate. And I don't know why that is. I guess I get so invested in it that. So what do we think it's going to be? One, if you think it's a guilty. Two, if you think it's a not guilty. I think it's going to be a one. I'm hoping. Because I do believe, like I said before, I would be lying if I said that I'm not hoping for a guilty verdict in large part based on emotion, which has no place in the law. I fully recognize that. But I'm not a juror, and that's why I will probably never be picked to be a juror. I've been called for jury duty before. I never got past the part where, you start with the giant pool and you usually sit in the lobby of the courthouse for a couple hours. Then they start calling numbers, and myself and several other numbers, they just said, okay, anybody numbers, whatever, do whatever, you're dismissed. That's as far as I've ever gotten. I have given a victim impact statement in court before in a traffic fatality that a family member was involved in as a victim. And interestingly enough, I did that entirely off the cuff. I knew I was actually until I knew I was going to court to hear the sentencing. I knew that I would be able to speak. I did not know until the moment I walked up to the podium if I was in fact going to. And I did, and I spoke on behalf of my family member because they could not do it. And I'll just say that because my family member was the lucky one who was alive to show up to court to see that sentencing. It was much easier for me to, it wasn't easy for anyone, but I was able to look at the killer, because that's what that person was, and say that I hope you will use your time you're young, to spend your time to better yourself. And interestingly enough, I got, those things you get sometimes, oftentimes it looks like a check. It'll be not quite a legal envelope length size. And it's not an envelope. It's an all-in-one. Like you tear the perforation one inside and then one across. And if you're real lucky, it's like a refund check from either your car insurance company or your health insurance company. Like, oh, you didn't, you didn't use this portion of your, like you overpaid on a copay or something like that. So it's either that or it's an advertisement made to look like it's a check so that you'll actually open it instead of throwing the shit in the garbage like is most people's inclination. And I got one just not that long ago. And it said it was from the Department of Corrections, and I knew exactly what it was going to be before I opened it. And it was a notification that that person was getting ready to be released from prison. That person did not 100% of their sentence, but I do believe they did about 75%. and it was telling me, I believe they were being released to a halfway house for, I don't know how long. And this verdict, whatever it may be, I'm going to say hello to everyone when this is done. Whatever this verdict may be, it is very much going to have implications for the husband. And my prediction is, if she's convicted, he is going to try and cut a deal. Because if anything, he's more culpable in some ways, in my opinion. I mean, I do believe he was rather feckless and clueless when it came to. I think she very much wore the pants. She ran the show. I think he probably had more of the two of them. I think he has a lot more emotions, shows a lot more emotions, etc., than her. But it was very interesting that she very much wanted to make the point that it was James' responsibility to, ensure the gun was secured. To which I say, that was a very small house, and she has responsibility as well. So I think, if she's convicted, why would the prosecution cut a deal? Except in the interest of saving money. But I don't know. It's going to be very interesting. If this is an acquittal, then obviously that strengthens his case, possibly. And I would still love to know the two questions I asked before. How are they getting paid? And more importantly, or as importantly to me, how did they decide who would go to trial first? I mean, it would have been me. When she was on the stand, and I maintain, I find her to be an odd duck. Can you imagine? Just try and put yourself in this woman's place. And I understand that there's a couple of years distance here between when the crime happened, but she has been locked up since a few days after. And forced dead. All the destruction in the wake of this crime. And she's on that stand, and TV commercials I have to walk away from because they make me cry. You heard me when I was just talking about making that victim impact statement. There's a reason I stopped, because if you've ever listened to me, there's been many times on here where I talk about something that's emotional to me, people I've lost, etc. And you can hear it in my voice. And I find her to be not a real, never cried, she never shed a tear on that stand. And I find that off-putting. I don't give a damn how long ago, I just, she's not a likable person. Not that has jack shit at all to do with finding her, guilty or not guilty. But the reality of it is, jurors are also human beings, and jurors, they do strange things. You can't, that's what I'd be doing, putting my fucking chapstick on. Wow. Wow. And since when did you get chapstick? I hope it was teenage. Not that was. I gotta say, she doesn't look too. I mean, I'm sure she's. Even when, hey, you guys, I'll say hello when this is done. Brittany, those polls, you have to do them through Facebook, and I don't have Facebook, so. Shorty, no, we're waiting. It's going to be any minute. I mean, they'd be bringing me in with escorted under each armpit, holding me up. I mean, and you know, I'm sure it is very possible that she is medicated at jail. You know, but I don't care if there couldn't be enough medication in the world to. I find her to be. She's not a sympathetic defendant. Not that. That is not supposed to play into this process at all. The law is not about healing. But that being said, jurors are human, and but we have all seen many times over the decades that juries do things that leave all the rest of us going, what, are they watching the same trial? I mean, jurors send messages sometimes that the rest of us don't think are necessarily based and rooted in how they were told to make a decision, but I don't know. I truly think this could go either way.
All rise. Court is now in session. The Honorable Shirley Matthews presiding.
I'm going to be interested to see her reaction to my lecture. I think Shannon's probably more emotional, nervous.
Your Honor, calling People versus Jennifer Crumbly, case number 22279-990 at page.
Damn.
Good afternoon, Karen McDonald on behalf of the people.
Thank you, Marquise, on behalf of the people.
Good afternoon, I'm Shannon Smith.
And I promise you, they are all in absolute bag of nerves right now.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to ask when the jury reads their verdict, after that, I want everyone to remain seated.
2 years of blood, sweat, and tears for all of them.
It's up to you. It's up to you. I really want the audience to stay seated after when the verdict's read and after that. And after that. You can stay if you want.
All rise for the jury.
Oh my God, I mean, Shannon looks like she's arisen. I think Shannon looks much more nervous than Ryan. So I'm sure.
Good afternoon, you may be seated.
And this is it. This is it for the rest of her life. Or,
Ladies and gentlemen, I've been informed that you have a verdict, is that correct?
That is correct.
Are you the person?
I am.
Could you please read your verdict?
oh,
Individually?
Sure.
Okay. On count 1 of involuntary manslaughter as to Madison Baldwin, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter. On count 2 of involuntary manslaughter in regards to Tate Muir, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter. On count
Hannah,
3, as to
report.
involuntary manslaughter regarding Hannah St. Juliana, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter. And of involuntary manslaughter against Justin Schilling, we find the defendant guilty of involuntary manslaughter.
Thank you, Woman. You can see it. And I'm going to ask Ms. Rose to call the jury.
Juror in seat number 1, was that and is that your verdict? It is. Juror in seat number 2, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 3, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 5, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 6, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 7, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 8, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 11, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 12, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 13, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 14, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Juror in seat number 16, was that and is that your verdict?
Yes.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We all know that this is one of the hardest things you've ever done. I'm going to ask you to return to the jury room. The 2 remaining alternates are also going to join you, and I'll be with you in a few minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All rise for the jury.
You know, I've always been, I've wondered through this whole thing. Every day there's been no less than 6 deaths by.
And I'm considering April 9th at 9 o'clock in the morning for sentencing effect.
That should be fine, Judge. Thank you.
Ms. Smith,
April 9th at 9 o'clock is fine, thank you.
all right. I'm going to ask everyone to remain seated while the defendant is taken out of court. Right?
All rise.
So sad. Just such an absolute tragic loss
You may
that could have been avoided. So many. I mean, and as a human being, I mean, I can't help but feel for the woman. I mean, I think it's the right verdict. So when I say feel for her, I mean, just as a human. You know, my husband and I were talking about this the other day. And I said, can you imagine? And listen, all that being said, I firmly believe that this is the right verdict. But and now I promise you, every one of those people will go out in the hall and fall apart. Oh, Shannon, I hope you got Taylor on standby. Whew, you're super too. Well, not good. Oh, God. Can you imagine? I mean, think about that. And please do not misunderstand when the scenario I'm about to talk about, that it was of their own making. But can you imagine? You get up tomorrow, you go to work, do whatever you do, and in 6, 7, 8 hours, just imagine your entire life just implodes. And yes, it will. And of course, it's going to be appealed, like always. But I think that I am not the only person sitting around saying we're tired of this. We have got to do something to at least try to put a stop to this. No parent, no child should ever have to send their kids to school and worry that they're not going to make it home. And if it was me, I say this is a damn fine start, and we will absolutely see more of this, which in turn will maybe if it makes one person take steps they wouldn't have, then it was at the loss of their freedom. I'm good with it. If it was me, here's my thoughts on school safety, and in addition to this, precedent setting case. Well, you don't hear about many guns, knives, bombs getting onto airplanes anymore, do you? No, you don't. And why is that? Because we locked that shit down. We said this is going to happen once, 9/11, hopefully. And I know me personally, I don't have a problem. At this point, this is so out of control that I feel that it is time to strongly consider turning our schools into airports. And if that means that you've got to walk through a metal detector every morning, so be it. They've been doing that in, larger cities that have a lot of, gun violence, etc. They've been doing that for a long time. I think that's a good start. If we have to pat you down before you get into school, I mean, I don't know. Is that a horrible thing to contemplate for a damn school? Yes, it is. But that's the world we live in. And continuing to, just sit around doing this. I mean, listen, it's time for everybody to, not that I'm going to be telling you anything you don't already know, but we have all been, there's so much of this shit. There are so many shootings and mass shootings that we're so desensitized to it. I don't know what the formula and the number is for the news stations, because they're not going to tell us. But I do know that when it seems like what I've seen, if fatalities or casualties, even just, injuries, but still alive, anything less than double digits seems to just get run on the chyron and barely gets any airtime discussion. I mean, think back to when these things started. Columbine, I guess, was the first. And it used to be that when one of these horrific tragedies happened, it would be just wall to wall, non-stop coverage for days. And then days became day singular. The more we had, well, that got watered down to several hours. Hours got shortened to maybe minutes. Minutes got shortened to a soundbite. And now we're down to like just crawlers on the Chiron. I mean, that's the way I see it. Kay Kanuga, yes, it was guilty. Guilty on all counts. I think personally that I think if teachers have a concealed carry and they have, proven proficiency in using that weapon, I believe they should arm them in classrooms. I mean, obviously you would have to keep it in a, some kind of a strong box, or they could figure all that out. What we are well beyond is what we've been doing for a long time now, which is hand wringing, and the NRA comes riding in with all the reasons why gun control is not the answer. This is an argument my husband and I have had for many years. And my stance on that is I don't ever want to see anyone's right to keep and bear arms infringed upon. However, I want to make it as difficult as possible for those who should not be easily able to get their hands on them in place. I think the loopholes that exist for background checks, private sale, gun shows and whatnot, I think that needs to be closed. My husband very much does not agree, but that's okay. But yeah, it's, no, there's no winners here. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with the husband, because, and just thinking out loud, could this have been a different verdict with a different attorney and a different client? Yeah, I think it could have. Would that be probable? I don't know. But you tell me what. And I got to say, I think nobody's going to be able to accuse this jury of not carefully considering the evidence and the law. I don't think anybody could say they didn't. But yeah, there's no winners. There's just nothing but losers everywhere. 4 dead kids. And when something like that happens, I will tell you that just from my family member who was involved in a criminal case, because the person that caused the accident, it would be easier for me to tell you what was not in that person's system as they were driving. It was just a little after 11 o'clock in the evening, and that person was driving in I think it was a 45. At times in excess of 100 miles an hour with every type of substance on board, and was so fucked up that, and naturally, that person was just fine. That person didn't even go to the hospital. No, that person was sitting on the curb wanting to know what's going on. What's happening? Like that's how fucked up they were. Meanwhile, there's somebody in the road under a sheet, dead. And I can tell you, my family member is the lucky one. 3 in the car, 2 walked away, 1 is dead. And it was just the luck of who was sitting where, nothing more. It was physics, and it was who was sitting where in the car. And I can tell you that when that happened, this was not even super late. I mean, it was late, but not, it wasn't. By the time I got the call didn't come from my family member. That wasn't the initial call. I mean, a bystander had to loan a phone because whatever was in the car was destroyed. And when you get a phone call from a stranger, from a number you don't know, late at night. Hi, Koi Peace. Oh, thank you. That's very sweet. I appreciate that. When you get a call from a number you don't know and it's late at night, and you've got a person on the phone saying, I'm trying to basically it was this. Two have gone in an ambulance. 1, and this person didn't want to tell me where the other one was. But obviously I knew who was out with who. And now think about that. What I'm getting at is how far the reverberations from something like this go, that you will never understand or know until, God forbid, something tragic happens in your life or your family, and then you have very intimate understanding of it. So when I'm on the phone with a stranger who was asked to call me by my family member because no phone, and was in an ambulance on the way to the hospital, I did eventually get the call from the ambulance from one of the paramedics' phones. But when that call came, and God bless that person too, because they had, and I tell you what, I feel for that person too. It was a guy, and I could tell he was pretty young. And that poor guy had no idea. He knew somebody was dead. They were in the road, covered by a sheet, a bloody sheet. The car was upside down. It went midair and rolled and flipped multiple times. And still, he was a good enough person to to call a stranger in the night from his phone to say, I just want you to, so-and-so asked me to please call you and let you know they're on the way to the hospital. And I said, what about? And I could tell he didn't know what to say. And I don't think he was entirely even sure. He did not tell me that one of them was dead in the road. He just said, and I said the name. And he just said, I'm not sure. And, there was a little tiny bit of time in there until I got another phone call from the ambulance and the paramedic. And I can tell you to this day, I am never within arm's reach of my cell phone. It is charged on my nightstand next to me without fail every single night because I'm forever scarred by, number one, getting the call, but I was the lucky one. Our family was the lucky one of two lucky ones. So every one of those kids, their family member, their friends, see, that's the thing those are the things that people don't think about, because if you're lucky, you don't ever have some terrible tragedy touch your life involving death, especially death of someone that's been cut down very soon. I mean, in our family's case, all of them were teenagers, and only, I think they were all just 18. So I know what it's like to be to be involved in something like that. And like I said, even though we were the lucky ones, doesn't mean that, and obviously this was my son. Okay. I always say my family member, because I can't I have to keep it like that. I can't talk about it, but I will never forget rushing to the emergency room. And, he was on the gurney and he was lucky. He literally left with a Band-Aid. And I remember when we took him home, he had a lot of glass that had, when it breaks, it almost gets it ground fine, like powder sort of, but it's still glass. And I had to put him in the tub, just like when he was a little boy. And I had to get the sprayer and hold it. And so, because you can't do this because the glass, he would have been all cut. And I will never, it will never leave me. It'll never leave him. Fortunately, if you're a parent, there is nothing worse than seeing your children hurt. And his hurt was not a physical hurt. I mean, that was a little bit, but it was the trauma of it. So I cannot fathom Like, I don't know how you go on, truthfully. I don't. And it all, it just, it has such far reaching implications for everybody who loved those kids. And it, like, just so senseless. None of it needed to happen. And as a human being, I have sympathy for her. As much more, no. I think she's I think she's gonna have a long time. Well, who knows? I don't know what the judge is, the sentencing. Um that'll be, oh God. I mean, they could run them. She could feasibly be in prison for the rest of her life. I mean, if the judge were to run those consecutive instead of concurrent, I don't know what the max I don't know what the max sentencing guidelines are for that, but 4 counts, I'd say that it's very likely that she will not see the free world again. I mean, how old is she? Does anybody know how old Crumbly is? I mean, I think she's a few years younger than me, even if she's 45, which I think she's a little older. But even if we say she's 45, I just, loss, like any loss of anyone you love, but a child. I don't know how. I don't know. I admire that because I tell you what, I feel like I would want to follow. I just, I think it's a good this is a good, it's a step. I mean, there's nothing good about any of this, but it's, I think this is, gonna, hopefully this is gonna send, and I personally am a very shockingly, I'm a big proponent of the death penalty. And opponents of it will always say things like, it's not a deterrent. Studies show it's not a deterrent. I'm like, you know what? It's a deterrent for that person. And I'm not too proud to say that, a little good old retribution every now and again is sometimes what needs to happen. But you know what? This is kind of a nice little segue into what I was going to talk about today. This has been a strange, comedy of errors with the tech and whatnot. A smarter woman might take that as some kind of omen, but I never claimed to be that receptive to omens. But I'm going to say hi to everybody real quick, and then I'm going to talk about what I was here to talk about the first time. I am really glad though that the verdict came and that we were all live. That was neat. Do you guys like my cheap ass sweater? I bought this yesterday at, oh God, I had to go everywhere yesterday. And for the first time in my life, I was like, you know what? Fuck you, Ulta. I had returns. Yesterday was like my running around doing returns day. I told Crazy Nurse, I said, girl, I got to get back to regular streaming because this shit is costing me so much money. I'm back to my old shopping habits. It truly, that is one of the very pleasant side effects of having a YouTube channel for me. It, while it hasn't completely done away with my shopping problem, it definitely cut down on my instant gratification shopping problem. My impulse buys, because when it's online, I tend to think about it more because I have to wait for it. Unless I'm exceedingly stupid that day and I pay what's actually like robbery expedited shipping charge. I try not to ever do that, but sometimes I have to. So yesterday I had a doctor's appointment, and then after my doctor's appointment, I said, you know what? I'm taking all that shit that I have in the closet, just like little things I'll pick up, and you get home and it's like, no, I don't like that. But it's not necessarily anything that was a big ticket item where I'm going to go return it immediately because I wanted to get the money back. So I had all this like little shit from various places: Ulta, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Target. The Target one, I said, yeah, screw that, because I knew. Oh God, because I try to be a little bit strategic the order in which I return, because you know how that goes. Rarely do I ever just return. Actually, what typically happens is I go in and I give them back the shit I don't want, and then put a whole bunch more shit in the cart, and then I end up having to give them money. So Target was at the end of the list, and I was quite successful. Or, well, depends on how you look at it. The one place I did fantastic, which rarely happens. Ulta, yes. I actually took just these two lip glosses and a highlighter. I mean, I think it was like, I don't know, maybe $35. And I walked in and I was like, nope, don't even do it. You don't need a damn thing, because I bought some palettes last week, and I don't need another piece of makeup I have enough makeup to supply each and every one of you in this chat with a very nice swag bag. So I already had the pep talk with myself going in. I was like, nope, don't even look. My Ulta, when you open the door to your immediate left, that's the cashiers. Where of course they'll all be standing back. They're going, oh yeah, oh, are you in line? No, bitch, I'm just standing here at fucking window dressing with this orange bag. Hell yes, I'm in line. What do you think I'm doing? But I had already told myself, don't even do it. Blinders, like a horse. Blinders, get in the line. Do not pass go. Do not give them $200. No, give them their shit back and get the hell out of there quickly. Like, look at it like a hostage situation. And that's what I did. And it was successful. But that's probably because I had been somewhere else first. And now that I think about it, you might have to put a pin in the little speech I just made about the makeup. I told y'all I'm going to do a makeup episode because several of you would like me to do that. And all that shit that's not getting used, I might as well come in here and show you. Maybe you'll see something you like. But I said a while back that I wanted to like start trying more things that are, more inexpensive. Now listen, you guys. I went to Walgreens. I looked at CoverGirl. No, fuck that. Because, and I'm just going to pass this on to you, and I'm sure you all know this anyway. I don't ever go to CVS, but there's a Walgreens close to my house. So I just popped in there. For those prices, holy shit, don't do it. I was shocked. I picked up like a CoverGirl eyeshadow palette, maybe 8 pans at best, and the little thin, the rectangles. That shit was like $15. It looked like sidewalk chalk. I was like, oh, hell no. No, don't do it. If you can avoid it, don't do it. You can go, even though you know how I feel about Ulta, I hate them. But Juvia's place, they have a huge selection of eyeshadow palettes. I've used the lipstick, ColourPop. All of those are in the same price point. The packaging is a hell of a lot prettier. I am a packaging girl. But the product is also good. So before I went to Ulta, I decided to just pop in to, I think it was Marshall's, TJ Maxx, Marshall's, one of those. They're the same thing. And imagine my surprise. I went in there to just look for makeup because I need more makeup. Now I've convinced myself that, oh, it's for my YouTube channel. It's research. Oh, yeah. It's R&D for my channel, okay? It's research and development. Oh, trust me. If you need any kind of justification for any purchase, hit me up. I've got an alphabetical listing of all the reasons you can give to whoever it is you need to give it to for whatever it is you are looking to buy. So I went in there to look for some makeup that I don't need. I actually just wanted to try a couple brands that, they typically have a lot of there. And I did not buy one makeup thing, but I did buy several pieces of clothing, which I rarely ever do that. And if y'all like Lily Pulitzer, I don't know about anywhere but Florida, but my Marshalls had a lot of Lily Pulitzer at really good prices. Really good prices. I bought 2 like linen tunics that were, I think, $150 retail, and they were $34.99, and they were really cute. Pink, lavender, not like some gross color that nobody wanted, so they ended up there. And I bought this cheap ass sweater in the juniors department. I was like, that is damn cute. $16.99. I could not believe it. I was like, holy shit, that's only $16.99. I didn't even try it on. I'm like, who gives a shit? I'll take it back on one of my many trips, or I'll give it to I have nieces. I'll give it to one of my nieces. And look, matches perfect. And I'm just wearing jeans. So where the hell was I going with this? My returns. Oh yes, my ensemble today. So where I was going before we were rudely interrupted by my lack of understanding about technology. I'm going to say hi really quick, and then we'll get into that. Crazy Nurse, hello. Hey, True Texan, how are you? Pink Stripe, So Flow Mama. Girl, thank you so much for those red stop signs in the beginning. Otherwise, I would have forgotten to check. Rapper, how are you? Kathy P, how you doing, girl? Hey, Woodstock. Marie Duffy, how are you? I'm running, y'all. I'm going really fast. Hey, that Kels, how are you? I got it fixed. High nonsense. I just unplugged, plug back in. Not in the, there's some kind of a splitter. When I tell you there's cord spaghetti behind, there is. It's pretty amazing that I was able to do it. It was a fluke. Trust and believe. Hi, Pink Stripe. Running. Hi, Grandma Sherry. How are you? Hey, Brittany. How are you? SW True Crime. Yes, Rapper. I'm glad you're doing good today. Hey, Shorty. Fairy Meadows. How are you? Gma AF. Hi, Marcy. Hi, Chris. V. Kaser. Nice to see you. Lover of the law. Are you surprised by the verdict? It could have gone either way as far as my thoughts. Hi, T. Marie. I agree. I think it was an egregious set of facts. I don't think they came about the decision to charge them lightly. Because, let's remember that the attorney general, the state's attorney, that's an elected position. So nobody wants to, they always think about things from a political standpoint, unfortunately. You've been in the bushes. That's okay. Oh, trust me. I'm in the bushes myself every now and again. Hi, Band-Aid of Memory. Oh my God. Oh, Kathy. Oh my God. Lockdown. Yeah, I tell you what, I think a lot of the reason that children are getting cell phones earlier and earlier, which is not a good thing, but it's because of situations like this. Hey, Kay Kanuga. Parents want to be able to get in touch with their children when, hey, Okie, how are you? Oh, wow, True Texan. That's good. That's awesome. Y'all are ahead of the curve. All in 1231. I agree. Absolutely. So many parents are. Hey, Claire. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Listen, there's no easy fix to this problem. And I just want to make it as difficult as possible for those who should not get their hands on them. I just want to make it as difficult as possible for them to, get them. Because yes, people, when there's a will, there's a way. Unfortunately, we all know that. Hey, YTV, real girl, Koi from Greece. Welcome. I think that's a new name. Yep. In our case, the bastard was just sitting there like, and when I tell you he was indignant, yeah. Hey, Catherine, how are you? Yeah, he was indignant up until sentencing, and then he was a little humbled. All right, we are almost there. Hi, Elias. Wow. My goodness, that's what a contribution. I'm so glad you stopped by. Oh my God, Pink Stripe. I'm so sorry. Oh, hey, True Jedi. You know, that really makes me think. We really don't know what anybody is dealing with that we, interact with in our lives. We just don't. Shane's craft beer review. Oh, well, it's probably a lot more fun in your case if it's to make beer. Oh God, fine. Listen, I can find something to buy anywhere. Anywhere. It doesn't matter where it is. I will find something to buy. Hello, Freeside. How are you? Yes, there is a lot of Lily Pulitzer at Marshall's right now if you like Lily. I tell you what, I liked Lily a lot better before it was absorbed by Liz Claiborne Group, but the quality. But I'm a print girl. I know that's hard to believe. All right, so back to where I was going with all of this when everything happened. I was saying that when I decided to step away from talking about, all the things I've been talking about for a while. And I noticed that I was sent a clip of the latest, I guess they call it iTow in their own words video. And I'm not sure why they were talking about Queen Bee's mods, of which I am. And I am, well, let me finish that and then I'm going to just go backwards just a sec. And hey, I don't care. It's free advertising. Throw me in there. Have at it. But yeah, somebody texted me the clip and said, I'm not sure why they're you haven't even been discussing any of this. I don't know why your channel was highlighted at the end. And I mean, I am a mod, so okay. And Queen Bee actually asked me not too long ago, listen, I don't want you to have any kind of blowback or repercussions for being my friend. So I have no problem if you don't want to have the wrench. I said, no. I said, no, you don't need to do that. If you need to do it, if it would make things easier for you in any respect, absolutely not a problem. But you don't need to do it for me. And that was that. So, because see, I am secure enough in, at least I call her a friend, and I think she would say the same for me. We do not talk every day. I am not the inner circle. I have never been the inner circle. I'm sure if I wanted to be and I asked really nice, they'd let me come sit at the cool kids table. It's never been like that. Queen Bee has a large channel with a wide variety and diversity of people who like her and relate to her. And you may not understand it, and it may surprise you why I count myself as one of those people, but I do. And obviously, I'm not alone. Now, all that being said, last week, I think it was probably towards the end of last week, and Crazy Nurse can attest to this, because she is somebody that I typically talk to every day. And lately, of the last few weeks, like I told her, I'm not watching it. I don't want you to send me any unless it's a safety concern or it's something that I really need to know about. Don't please. I need a break from all of this. It is wearing on me. And listen, there's no shame in my game. I have no problem admitting that. And yeah, I think that just makes me a decent person. And then that's not, don't like nobody get all crazy. Like, oh, are you saying that because we don't take breaks? I don't give a fuck what you do. You do what works for you. I'm taking care of me. Okay. Now, I did not know up until very recently that there's been a lot of shit behind the scenes. That's just now over the last several, I guess, weeks, maybe, starting to come, out more for public consumption. Shit's not behind the scenes anymore. Ties have been cut. People are no longer friends. Listen, I'm here to tell you, I have my own YouTube breakup story. I have never shared it. I'm never going to share it. I have survived another cleaving, parting of the ways. Benny Keys, Nicolina, and Rap. And I was right in the middle of all that. I was friends with all of them. When I say friends, I mean YouTube. Nicolina and I did have a couple, like we exchanged text messages, one phone call, one time back in the day. But when all that shit between them blew out, listen, I'm kind of like a cat who's had a few very exciting, well, at least 5 of her 9 lives. And, I may not look like I'm at all street smart or savvy, but I am. Just because maybe my street looks different than somebody else's. I mean, do you think I haven't traveled all kinds of streets in my life? I certainly have. And, I knew at that time, I was not willing to pick a side. Okay. Now that being said, I didn't have a real clue. Benny Keys, that was just, I would go to his chats a lot. There was we never exchanged any messages behind the scenes. I think I was a mod for him for about a week. And then something happened and he pulled all the wrenches and that was that. Rap, same thing. I was a mod at Raps for about a week, maybe a little longer. And I was a mod at Nicolina's as well. But much like this scenario, I was not privy to all of the shit that was going on between everybody. So all of this has been to say that just because I have not been talking about the lawsuit, all the things that are going on, that doesn't mean I don't have opinions still. I have just now gotten to the point where I've had enough of a break to get myself recentered. And please, this is a limited engagement right here. I am going to talk about the article on the Daily Beast. I'm going to do it in a little bit of a different way because something has occurred to me while I was on this hiatus. But I did reach out to Queen Bee today and I said, hey, I'm going to review the Daily Beast article, and basically all I said was, "Are you going to go live today?" I said, "Because I don't want to do it at the same time that you are." And she texted me back and said, "No, baby, you go." That's one of the things I love so much about her. Like, see, when I say something like that, and that I promise you, this is one of the things that endears her to people. And if for me, it was like immediately, like I connected with that. And it is very much how just that. It sounds so stupid, but it's how do I put this? It doesn't sound phony. It doesn't sound fake. But if I said it, like if I said, "Oh, hey, baby, how you doing?" It would sound like I was, putting it on or trying to get something out of you. It's just how she talks to people, but it's very endearing. So I just wanted her to know I don't want to do it at the same time as you. So, and I did say, if you're around and you want to come by, I said, I'm going to give the speech before I get going. I said, but sometimes I said, I don't want to be going on the apology tour when this is over. So here's all I'm going to ask. I'm very well aware of the fact that there are people in this chat. In fact, one of them's a mod, at least one of them. There could be more. I don't know. But I'm very well aware of the fact that this place is like a Molotov cocktail at the moment. There's a lot of incendiary things that are going on. There are a lot of really hurt feelings. I truly believe, listen, I can tell you this right now. You don't have that kind of anger, and that's both sides, okay? There's plenty of it to go around. You don't have that if there's not a whole lot of hurt underneath it, okay? Because I can tell you, I had to take a step back from all the things I was talking about for the exact opposite reason. And it typically is one or the other. I'm just smart enough to know that, if all of this is pissing me off, well, then I need to put that away. So I like to think that I am in a somewhat of a unique position on here, that I like a lot of people who do not like each other. I don't necessarily like everybody equally, but I don't have, not that I'm aware of, I do not have problems with anyone on here. There's people I think are bags of shit that I cannot stand. But I don't go to those people's chats and they don't come here. So all I ask is, if there's somebody here that you can't stand, I got no problem with that. I get it. But please, if you have respect for me, please, no shit in the chat, okay? And if you need to leave because of that, I completely understood. So that's all I ask. I don't hate people because other people don't care for them now, in the past, etc. So, okay. So on that note, carrying on, something occurred to me. You know why I had to? Oh, here's the other thing I forgot to mention on that iTow, when I said I didn't quite understand why I was being highlighted. And hey, whoever you are, it's free advertising. I mean, whatever. And listen, I have never made any secret of my feelings for the name I'm never going to mention again. I think I'll call her Dusty for what should be obvious reasons. I tell whoever you may be, and just to anyone else who may not be aware of this, I had an utter disdain for Dusty and her kind long before I ever heard the name Queen Bee. I did commentary on her before I ever heard the name Queen Bee. When I blew up, my first channel was Quentin Simon. I wasn't watching that on Queen Bee. At the time, I believe I watched a lot of it on Savages. I got love for Savage too. I'm very rarely ever in her chat anymore. I used to always try and leave comments on her videos, and it's not because I don't care about her or I have an issue with her. Not at all. It's just like everything else. People's paths diverge. She started talking about a lot of stuff that I like. I don't know who that bombshell lady. I don't give a shit. Nothing nefarious, but everybody gets it. This is just how it goes. But she was very good to me the first time around and the second time around. So just because many other people don't, that goes a long way with me. Anybody who's ever been kind to me, nonsense, shouted me out many times when I came back this second time. Several people. I appreciate anybody who's ever done that. And I'm sorry, that's how I'm built. If you've ever been good to me, I will fall all over myself and go out of my way to try and never disrespect or disregard that. I mean, obviously everything has its limits, but that's just how I try and work. So, but yes, I see my first channel, I was so repulsed and disgusted that, see, I've learned a thing or two, because last time when I was at the point that I got to a few weeks ago, you see, because this is who I've always been. I have always had a visceral reaction to people like Dusty, people who, I mean, the reason it's funny because what brought me here was Summer Wells and watching trials my whole life. I mean, I've been reading true crime from the days when that's all we had. And until coming to YouTube, this is the first time in my life that I have had this little interest in true crime. And it's because of a lot of the really grimy people that inhabit the sector. And I am not speaking of, obviously, real, like, true crime channels that do no, oh, Grandma Sherry, who's Dusty? That would be Dusty Rhodes. And I'm getting to it. You know, just sometimes I put a name in my head to a face. That's the one I've stand by. I'm getting there. Pink Stripe, I agree with I agree. I mean, for me, I wouldn't say destroyed, but like I said, I am 53 years old. So let's just say 40 years, maybe longer, but let's just say 40 because that's a nice even number. But 42 is probably actually more realistic. 42 years of being fascinated by true crime. There was never not a book I was reading. We didn't have the internet and all that back then, but the first go around, Prayer Garden of America was the first person I ever spoke on because I just could not believe. I was like, who is this fucking disgusting, vile bitch talking about a baby that's missing with the most foul? I mean, she is just a filthy, foul, disgusting bag of shit. And well, I had quite a response to that video. And back then I didn't do lives. I only did uploads. And I started picking up traction, and well, there's no manual for this place. It's on the job training. But the last time that I got to the place of just utter disgust. See, because this is just a smaller microcosm of what's going on in society. Kind of like the verdict we just watched. I have a real problem with bad people being rewarded in whatever form it is. And yes, I know bad is a relative term, and what's bad to me may not be bad to you. But I'd say that if you don't, I don't think it's a reach to the people I'm talking about or have talked about to put them in the category of bad. But so yeah, Quentin Simon had just really started cooking. I had never heard of Queen Bee. Okay. I'm trying to think. All right. No, I was thinking in my mind of where I was watching a lot of that, but I know it was Savage for sure. But she wasn't on a lot during the day at that time. She's still not on a lot during the day. Where was I watching a lot of that? It doesn't matter. But I absolutely promise you it was not Queen Bee. I had never heard of her. So when I just got to the point where I've always in my life been a person who has very strong feelings, and I don't respect, understand, or agree with or like when I see shitty people being rewarded for shitty behavior. I mean, I've always been, and I get it. There's a lot of people who they can't get past the way I look. They can't get past the way I dress. But if you can get past your preconceived notions about me, and listen, I'm cool with it. Do you think if I wasn't okay with it, I would be who I am? No, I'd be somebody else. So I am very self-aware. I know I can absolutely unlike a lot of the people I've talked about, if you said to me, tell me, you know, tell me what top 10 people surveyed, what do you think were the top 3 reasons they said they couldn't stand you? I promise you I could pick a few out. No problem. But I know who I am, so I don't care. And if you can get past all that and you can get down to like who I really am, that I try to, we all show you what we want you to see. We don't show you what we don't want you to see. But I am you always get me. I can tell you that. And there's many times where me being me gets me in trouble, but I don't know any other way to be. Unlike, some of the people I talk about who they have no idea who they are. And they definitely are not who they represent they are. But they're not my problem. So when I got to this place before, it was the day that Molly, I can tell you the last live stream I watched and then blew my channel up. Molly had just blown into town, and what's her name? Mallory was genuflecting because Molly bought her some fucking off-season Coach bag at some outlet, and she was fangirling all over the place. And that was not the catalyst, not at all. I'm just giving you a reference for the time frame. And I did a live stream, and I was just like, what in the hell? What am I doing here? Because clearly, I will never give these people what they seemingly want, which is Tragedy Pimps and Company. Tragedy Pimps Inc. I would never do that. So I just, I didn't think on it long. I walked out of my office and it was less than 2 hours later. And I came back in my office and I hit delete channel. And the reason I did it that way, because you get the option, you can put it on like a hold. Or I could have just stopped by then I was doing some lives, but nothing like this. I was doing on my iPad. There was always fucking tech problems. Because as my husband loved to tell me, honey, you are trying to use a consumption device as a production device, and they don't want you to do that. So they're going to make it as hard as possible. He was right. So the reason I just decided to pour gasoline all over it and blow it the hell up was because I didn't want to be able to change my mind. Much like I told Heels when all that happened, when I talked to her the first time after all that happened, and I apologized, and because I didn't handle that. I tell you what, I don't have many regrets on this platform, truly. The way I handled that was one of them. And that is not me. Please don't take any of that as me that has nothing to do with the events of what precipitated that. Not at all. I'm not commenting on any of that. No, just the way I handled it. And in much the same manner, I did not want, the reason I handled that the way I did, and I said my piece, and I did not give her an opportunity to speak to me further, was because I did not want her to be able to change my mind. And so I handled it in a way I should not have. That's why I blew my channel up like I did, because I didn't want to be able to change my mind a week later. And at that time, I took 4 or 5 months hiatus. I did not watch it. I did stay in contact with a couple people. Heels was one. One is no longer on YouTube. And I thought there was one more. I think there was one more. But anyway. So to anyone who thinks that I am being told what to do as far as covering the person whose name I'm not going to ever utter again. We're just going to call her Dusty. I was talking about her before I ever heard the name Queen Bee. I always had problems with her because, much like my entire life, I just can't stand to see someone. Listen, I really am a fan of people working hard and being successful. Y'all, I am not fucking jealous of anyone on this platform. Are there people that I can look at and go, damn, I wish I would like to be like that? Of course, that's totally normal. Kind of like I said, hopefully I'm in the unique position of I can like a lot of people, and all I ever ask is that you respect me enough. If you respect me enough, just don't talk shit about anybody I like, and I will do the same for you. I've never asked anybody for something I wouldn't give. But as is wont to do on here, a lot of people call it hate bonding, and sometimes I guess it is. I don't really take issue with that word, except hate. I don't truly have any hate for anybody. But I would be lying if I told you that I don't get a big fucking chip on my shoulder. Now, just like I said, I'm not jealous of anyone on here. That is not the same thing as me saying, yeah, I do get a big chip on my shoulder. When I see somebody who's not as smart as me, not as charismatic as me, not as fill in the blank as me, really like getting ahead by doing all the shitty things, well, it makes me feel some type of way. That in no way, shape, form, or fashion equates to jealousy. Because I promise you, I am very blessed in my life. I'm very blessed that I don't have to rely on this for a fucking thing. This is a time filler for me. It's an outlet for me to, use some of the things that I consider talents or strengths. It fills several roles in my life, but none of them will ever come before my mental well-being, my happiness, etc. And that's not a dig on anybody who's not in that position. I've said many times, I give mad, even if I don't like you. I can respect somebody's hustle. when I get to the point where I've got a chip on my shoulder and it's starting to come through and it's starting to make me angry all the time, it's time for me to put it down and to walk away and say, you know what? I'm going to be nice and I'm not going to say what people like some of the people I've talked about would represent in my real life. I'm not going to go there. But yeah, some people like a lot of chaos. I don't. Not now. I used to love that shit when I was younger. So that's what I had to do, because when I do get that chip on my shoulder, it's a me problem. It's not, even though I, still feel the same way about the people I was speaking of. That's my problem, not their problem. So here's the realization that came to me and like I said, I have just started to wade back into some of the comings and goings in Krama. So I'm just recently becoming aware of a lot of all the shit that's gone down. And I'm not involved in it, and I don't want to be. So that being said, you know what occurred to me as crazy nurse, she's been doing the same thing, because she's like, she'll take my temperature in the morning. Well, not literally. But she'll, let's just say, I'm sure there's a couple mornings when she probably wanted to send me something, but could read the room and figured, probably not the day to send that. So I said to her privately, several weeks ago, whenever we found out this Paramount series was coming out, I said to her, if that was the last fucking entertainment in the world, I would read a book, or I don't know, I'd go cut several acres of my yard with cuticle scissors. I don't know. But what I will not do is watch it. However, when she sent me a link to the Daily Beast article, I think she knew I would like that. And I was reading it and I was like, yes, that. And here's something you guys will find interesting. And the people the names I'm going to say might find it interesting as well. And these two are arch nemesis, cannot stand one another, but I've listened to Queen Bee the last several streams. And I also listen to Laura a lot. And I listened to Laura. I guess it was it last night? Maybe, I don't know. I'm never there in real time. And listen, Queen Bee knows that I listen to Laura, and that Laura comes in this chat sometimes. She has never once said to me, "Oh, fuck that." But no, if you fuck with Laura, you don't fuck with me. Never. Just as I would never say that to her about anybody that she may be friends with that I didn't like. I mean, that's just how it is. I mean, I know things, there's no there's no rule book for how people deal with each individual person that they fuck with on here. I get that. But I'm only concerned with how I deal with people and how they deal with me. That's all I care about. Hey, Bathtub Mary. Hi, Jacob. How are you? Do I like bouncy houses? Yeah, who doesn't? So I was talking about Dusty long before I ever heard the name Queen Bee. I just, to me, I got to the point, I still feel the exact same way about her. I just got to the point where, how many more times? Because unlike Queen Bee, I'm not embroiled in a legal proceeding with her. Although I do thank you for finally like giving me an appearance in the damn took you long enough, bitch. God. I'm kidding. But I was like, damn. She's talked about everybody and their fucking cat. I don't know why she didn't mention me. And I read the Daily Beast article. I listened to Laura talking about it. Hey, Frenchie, how are you? And I was in very strong opposition to most of Laura's take on the Paramount deal, but that's okay. Like, comme ci, comme ça. Que sera, sera. I think, but the big realization that I've had is this. And I'll read the article. Très bien, Frenchie. I can tell you this. All I can say is the pool of talent, my goodness, apparently it's gotten very shallow and unchlorinated. If we are, as a society, we are to the point where we are going to decades-long criminals, former criminals, call it whatever you want, as some type of celebrity. That tells me that the word celebrity no longer means anything. Because like I'm of an age where I know what a real true celebrity is. And it is not like, back in the good old days when someone got famous based on, usually a strict set of parameters, which was why the bar to entry was typically quite high. You were either incredibly attractive. We know it's not that. You were incredibly talented. Not that. You had an incredibly rare gift for a very specific type of celebrity. I mean, to me, we are basically at the point where we've run out of all the smart, attractive, talented people. So now we're going to the pool of everyday schlubs who, because they don't have any class or self-awareness or couth or I keep going, the inability to display pride, that we now call them celebrities. Yeah, that tells me like I don't Glenda, no, I don't think they do count. Hi. Much like typically, this will be better placed when I read the article, so I'll save that. But I'll save that particular refrain, but it's not anything I haven't said 12,000 times before. Bathtub Mary, yes, I agree. I think they did, but I agree with this very much, which has led me to one of my epiphanies. I've always known this, and this is something that's been true from the beginning of time. It's nothing exclusive to this. We all just forget this though, because we live in a time now where every dipshit out there thinks that their mundane daily meanderings and tasks are worthy of social media posts. Like, I don't give a shit what you had for breakfast, nor should you care about what I had. I have never been, I'm not a selfie person. I don't like, listen, even years ago when all this shit first came out, when it was really, social media was really gaining traction, I was never that person, which is ironic because I've always been a person who likes a little bit of attention. I come from a time where I didn't have to have a camera and a mirror in front of me to get it. And I didn't always get it in the right way. So, please don't think that anything I'm saying is me. I have never said that I have made more mistakes than many. Mine, fortunately did not end in a long rap sheet that looks like Dusty's. But what we have all always known, but have lost sight of, and may very well be the cure for these people. And, when I say the cure, I don't mean the cure. I don't say that like, oh, look, this is all we have to do and boop, problem solved. But everything starts somewhere, okay? And much like the woman who was just convicted about an hour ago of manslaughter because she was egregiously negligent as a parent, as a fellow human being, etc. That might be the first step in at least starting. I mean, you have to do something. So I've decided that what I'm going to do is what all of us have always known. Well, what is the worst way to hurt a degenerate, unaccomplished loser who has found fame on social media for nothing but being as fucking dumb as this, which by the way, would you please note that this, even my lollipops match my outfits. Yeah, not very smart. Not not aesthetically pleasing. Not nice, most importantly. Most importantly, not nice. And I like, I don't care how you feel, however you want to feel. This is how I feel. And because these people are irrelevant in my life, there is nothing that they will do or I will do in their lives that will make one bit of difference, nor do we want them to. I would cross the street and go to the other side to get away from them. But for me, I have decided that and listen, if you doubt me and you doubt my commitment to staying, listen, I am very blessed and I have every reason to be walking around on clouds every day. And I have for a long time, until I found myself deeply embroiled in YouTube. So I take a step back and put in sharp perspective what matters and what does not. And if you doubt my commitment to it, well, just go look at the views from when I was talking about the tragedy pimps, one or two in particular. And the views on what I've been doing of late. I mean, I'm sure one of them would like to say, well, see, if you're not talking about me, nobody wants to listen to you. Well, and that may be true, but I don't give a fuck. Because this is for me. This is for me. For all the reasons I've stated a million times. I like to entertain people. That's what I like to do. Unlike, I don't know, some of the people I've talked about who like to make them cry and, just be like an uneducated thorn in the side of the literate, law-abiding folks. So, it's kind of like if you go to the mall and you go to the shoe salon, well, if you go there and you want to talk about, the latest brand of Black & Decker drills, well, you might have a couple polite women. Me, I'd be like, listen, dude, I'll listen to the spiel, but do I get like a gift card? Do I get any kind of like gift with purchase, perhaps? Do I get a coupon code to apply? Like, can I stack things on the clearance rack? So, while I will absolutely, not only do I not have a problem with it, I understand it. I showed up again thinking that doing everything I did the last time would have a different result. But that's a me problem. Me problem. It's not a hood problem. It's a me problem. I came here and I sold myself as at least in part. You know, I've always said I have a useless talent for telling people about themselves. And I'm sure there's plenty of people that have a useless talent who have told me about myself. I just probably didn't hear it. Because unlike a lot of people, I don't go searching for that. But it's not worth, like, I'm here to tell all of the people who think there is a big pot of something great at the end of the tragedy pimp rainbow. There's not, and I can tell you this. Yet again, for the 987th time, anything, yes, you can still hate bond here. Anything that takes place in anyone else's life, it has no bearing on mine. So I've decided that what I've always known to be true, what every single one of you know to be true, is this. Let's just say that let's say that this series propels whoever's in it. And I don't know anybody except the two that are on the front of the Daily Beast article. But let's say that this propels them to worldwide fame and all their dreams come true. Okay. It has no bearing on my life, because that's not my goal. That's not my, I'm not looking for that. I've never been looking for that. It doesn't matter. Yeah. Is that to say I wouldn't sit back and go, what the fuck? Well, of course, because I don't get it. I don't get it. But I don't have to get it. But here's what I know. I know that the way to show somebody that you don't care and that you don't support it and that they're not important to you is to ignore it. Because I promise you, if you really want to get down to brass tacks and you want to see what people, how do I put this? I think there's, when you've told yourself, see, I don't know if some of these people, like, let's take Dolly, for example, okay? Is he being nice? Are you being nice? Really, here's the thing. And here's what I was going to, oh, hold on. I want to make sure before let me tell you something I see in Dolly that I see in myself, that I don't see in a lot of people. And everybody, listen, everybody does their own thing. But there is one thing I see in him that I see in myself. And nobody's perfect, okay? And we all fuck up. And Dolly's done shit that I think was gross. And I'm sure vice versa, even though we probably wouldn't agree at all on those things. But I think Dolly also likes to entertain people. I think ultimately he wants to make you laugh. he might also, and I don't mean everybody. His people. I feel that he wants to make his people laugh. He wants to entertain them. I mean, to me, he's like a Larry the Cable Guy kind of deal. That's how and whether you like that or not, or you like that I'm saying that or not, or you're going to be pissed that I said that, I don't care. That is something that there's very few people that I've always said, you're funny or you're not. I don't think being entertaining and or funny, more funny than entertaining, I think, is something you can learn. I think it's just something that's in you or it's not. Now, the way, and I do, whether you like me or not, I do consider myself someone who is pretty funny. And I promise you, I come from a line of, I mean, I can think back to at least 2 generations of people that are pretty funny. You know, I'm sure there's plenty of people who don't find me funny at all, because I'm more a snarky funny. But so what is the worst thing to do to see? Because to me, wanting to entertain people is a whole different ball game than being an insatiable, thirsty attention seeker. And that is what many people are on here. I mean, we all are to a certain degree, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the usual suspects. And I have decided that all I can do is not contribute to the problem, because I don't agree with it. I don't agree with rewarding people. Listen, I can sit in this chair and I can tell you, I'm a plastic surgeon. And oh God, I wish I was. Jesus. I mean, I don't know if I could do surgery on myself, but oh, well, I mean, some people, I'm already made of plastic, so I guess I don't need to have I don't need to do that. Yeah, I've got for somebody who's made of plastic, Jesus, when I get up in the morning, let me tell you something. Those old like G.I. Joes and Barbies, and you do this and they'd go, yeah, that's what my joints sound like in the morning. Just because you call yourself something, it doesn't mean you are. And it doesn't mean that you then get to go around and demand that others treat you with the respect that, I mean, there's a reason that to be a doctor, to be a lawyer, to be a car mechanic, if you're going to be a master, like a certified mechanic and work at a dealership, listen, I'm not, I'm not doing an infomercial for you. And Dolly, there's a lot of shit I don't agree with that you did. But I also think that unlike many of the people here, I can, we're not going to dinner. But I personally have never had an issue with you. There's been things that I like, the whole, what I don't like. But I can recognize that you have a commodity that, I'm just saying, to me, whether people like it or not, you have something that I see in myself. And not a lot of people have that. Not around here anyway. And I have a respect for that. And I don't care who fucking likes that. Too bad. I don't go to, we all like people who other people can't stand, etc. That's a lot of the problems with this place. It's one giant fucking personality contest. Hi, Sierra. Hi, Pamela. Listen, I've just decided that for me, I am not going to contribute to this problem anymore. And by that, I mean, I'm not going to feed the beast. I'm telling you right now, I am never saying that bitch's name again. I will never, her name will never cross my lips again. Because I am done trying to, I'm done trying to understand. We've gone through the what the fuck, bro? Yep, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, still don't get it. I'm not gonna get it. And I may not have the commodity that clearly a whole bunch of people want, but that's okay. Because I'm just on here trying to fill a little time. So I feel like, hi Ashtastic. I feel like what would hurt the most, what if everybody, because do you know, hey Ange Carter, I looked at my queue this morning because I didn't do what I said I was going to do. About 10 days ago, maybe 2 weeks, I said, I'm fucking unsubscribing to everybody. Because I just I just couldn't get away from it. And this morning, I look every single thumbnail going across my queue is the Vanity Fair. And now this series is going to come. And yeah, but who knows? I mean, the things people really care about, well, I'm getting out of that business. I don't know what the hell they care about. I can only talk about what I care about. Shopping. No. And that's a funny thing. Like, I feel like, listen, I've always said, I'll read the newspaper. I'll try and make you laugh. I may not make you laugh through the whole front page, but I'll get a few in there somewhere. I mean, the fact that I am willing to take a fraction of what I have, if I'm gonna, get the knee pads out, get your tweezers, you're gonna pick and gravel out of your ass. I mean, people will sit and listen to that all day long. And the fact, I would hope it would show how serious I am, that I have continued to come in here. And my God, I got to get my ass back in here, if for no other reason than it is costing me way too much money. My shopping addiction is going into overdrive. Okay. Like, I'm getting ready to find a meeting. And I don't mean that in any disrespect because if you don't think there's a damn Shoppers Anonymous, there is. I just haven't found it yet. But that's another, my God, that alone is worth, Christ, my husband's like, you get your ass in there 6 days out of 7. I mean, listen, a lot of people would not do that if they either didn't, I mean, you really have to not care. And that's where I am. I don't care. But I'm just not, I'm not going to be part of the problem anymore. Because let me tell you something. When you're not the sharpest knife in the block, you either don't know that everybody's like, all the attention you're getting is very negative and that you're being clowned by everybody. Or you do know, but you're so thirsty, you don't care. Or it's a combination of the two. What, I don't know. But the worst thing you can do to someone who wants attention in any form is don't give them your attention. And I don't care if it means, listen, I spent my entire elementary, middle, well, not high school. I spent my entire elementary education as my report card from, I think the 4th grade it was, attested to, that my mother asked me if I wanted. I'm like, why the hell would I want that? And she's like, read it. And back then they would come in these like, well, it was about that big and it was a yellow, like this ugly yellow colored envelope. And it had the little circle in the string, and you would roll the string around the little circle thing. And you'd pull it out, and that was your report card. And back then it was like, you got a V for very good, a G, an S, or an I, or a U. U. I was incomplete. And then the teacher could write a comment, and apparently I've spent probably my entire elementary education, my whole life. Like, if nobody's around, I'll make the dog, I'll talk to the dog. My husband, he doesn't even pretend anymore. 9 times out of 10, I say to my husband, because of the way our kitchen and our living room and all that is set up, like you can see the living room, it's all open, everything's open. So my back, he sees the back of my head while I'm on the couch watching whatever. He's in the kitchen making his nightly dinner of peanut butter and jelly, because I'm very busy. I don't have time to cook. I'm shopping and I'm, playing YouTube commentator. And I'll say, honey, listen to this, or you won't believe. And I was going to say 9 out of 10, but 8. I'm just, I'm like a little minor bird, just, and I turn around and I'm like, he doesn't even pretend anymore. Like, I'll all of a sudden hear the garage door shut. I hear the office door shut. I'll hear the toilet flush. I'm like, oh, okay. I used to take it personally, and then I was like, oh my God, the man deserves fucking medal. Like, just let it go. Let it go. Yeah, that's going to be, I think I'm going to write a book. I don't think you truly get good at marriage until you've had a few. Let's just say I'm an expert. But yeah, that report card said, the teacher always has to say some bullshit thing they don't mean. Like,
it is very nice having Lisa in class. She needs to work on her talking. Um, Even when I move her desk and put her desk, I face her to the wall, she will still talk. Speaking of that, holy shit. What the hell's going on with Wendy Williams? Can we talk? Can we talk? What was her thing? What'd she say? What was her tagline? It wasn't girl. What was it? Can we talk? Can we talk? Is that what she'd say? I know she'd say, can we talk? No, that was Joan Rivers. What was it that Wendy Williams always said? She had something she was known for. It wasn't girl, was it? That's, yeah. How you doing? How you doing, girl? I need to come up with my own Lisa-ism. Wendy. Although she hasn't hit, I don't know what's going on with her. She looks awful. I know she had, I actually watched a special about her. Maybe, I don't know, it's been maybe a year ago it came out. And it was about her split from the, oh God, oh that had to hurt. She should have done a damn Lisa Left Eye Lopez and burned that bitch's house to the ground. Did I say that? I don't mean that. I'm not endorsing arson or boy, Wendy looks bad. I know she's got some kind of a, what is it that she has? Is it an autoimmune disorder? She's got some kind of very rare hi Bryce Wilkie, Tipper Guys. What's Tipper Guys? Hi Corrine. A question? Well, you can ask. It doesn't mean I'll answer. I've thought about ask me anything, but then I'm like, oh hell no. I'd have to put in the parentheses almost anything, and I will only answer a fraction of that. I wish I could. I would love to do that. Let me tell you something. If you guys don't think I have some fucking stories, I got stories. I got stories for days. I got stories. I'm glad I lived to tell the tale, and I'm not kidding. But yeah, Wendy Williams, oh, she looks bad. And apparently her sister was trying to get conservatorship over her. Oh, she should hit up Brittany's dad. Was it Brittany's dad? Did he die? I know he's got cancer or something. That bitch still going off the deep end? She's still dancing with machetes? Like, Brittany, please. Contain your knife block dancing to, like, I tried a steak knife, okay? I did my Benihana knife dance with a small steak knife. It was harder than you think. And Brittany, girl, something bad's gonna happen. Something very bad's gonna happen. Can't you do like, oh God, like what could, how about juggling? How about I'm not kidding. When I say that knife dance, I mean, it could be, of course, because I haven't met cardio in about, well, even if I kind of tell the truth and sort of lie and split the difference, let's say, oh, about 25 years I haven't met cardio. That could account for some of the, it was hard. It was, and of course I did it in high heels, mind you. Brittany was barefoot with Pickwick feet, but still, I mean, what she lacked in footwear height or footwear at all was, I mean, she much made up for with her acrobatics, her choreography. I didn't have all that. I was trying not to lose a finger, but the knives seem to be getting bigger, and I'm worried about her. That's no bueno. What is this about tampon machine? Okay, I don't know how we went from one to the other, but I didn't believe this when I heard it. And I asked my husband, see, this is my wheelhouse right here. This is where I excel. This kind of what the fuck kind of stuff. We are in the state of Connecticut putting Corinne, did I miss? Did you ask and I missed? Hold on. Shit, I wish. Hold on, I saw something else I wanted to. Okay, thyroid. I thought she had some really rare, like degenerative autoimmune. I don't know, but when she looks terrible. And her sister does not, but I noticed she's still wearing the Rock of Gibraltar. And Wendy girl, I get it. I would not give that shit back either. And they would pry that. They would cut that with a damn skill saw off my finger. Just don't get to where you got to pawn it. My God, that ring, holy shit. Sometimes size does matter. And with diamonds, that is one of those times. That thing is, if I had to guess, I bet that thing is 10 carats. I mean, it's looking, it looks kind of, it is reminiscent of Elizabeth Taylor's Hope Diamond. Did she have the Hope Diamond? Well, they called it the Burton Taylor Diamond. Yeah, because when you buy a ring that costs, that's retail price is, representative of a small third world country's GDP, they name it after you. So when Richard Burton bought Elizabeth Taylor, the diamond, where did they buy that? Was it, I think it was one of the huge jewelry stores. Cartier, maybe? They renamed it and they called it the Taylor Burton diamond. But okay, so yeah, we're all over the place. Knife dancing, diamonds, 2 tampons. What? Hold breaks. In Connecticut, apparently there's a law been passed that there are tampon machines that must be installed in the boys' bathroom in every school in the state, is my understanding. Excuse me? Why? I mean, this is real, okay? Do you know, I did not know this until I saw Megyn Kelly has a podcast, and I was not so much of a fan of Megyn Kelly when she was at Fox. Can I tell you, if you are even remotely, well, I don't even want to preface it with that. She's long done with Fox, and she's got her own podcast, and she's got a YouTube channel. And when I tell you she drops the F-bomb, she did this the other day over the border shit.
Okay, listen. Schools number one. But the reason I brought Megan Kelly up over with the tampon thing, I did not know until I heard it on her podcast. Get this. Wait for it. This is so gross. Do you know that there are underwear and sanitary items that you can buy that are pre-stained with Jesus, I mean, I'm assuming it's some kind of red dye or huh? What? Okay, schools have no money. Most schools never have enough money for XYZ. They cut all the after school programs, the libraries, the arts, all that is the first to go. But we have money to put tampons in the boys' bathroom. How about this? Is this possible? If you are a boy, I mean, let me just clue you in here. You're not going to find too many women who are going to advocate for and sing the praises of the menstrual period. No, not so much. And unless you can also it gets worse. Like that's not the last stop on the ride, okay? So like how committed are you? Because next stop, stirrups. I mean, this kind of like all plays into this, kind of like I was talking about earlier. What you like? Why are we? I don't care what anybody does in their bedroom. I don't give a shit what you wear, as long as it's not hurting me or mine. I don't care. Live and let live. But there has to be limits, okay? And why does the school system need to put Tampax machines in the boys' bathroom? I don't get it. Why? What? Because I just don't like. I also do not think that we should even, although a case could be made for it, but I'm not even sitting here saying that I necessarily think they should be in the girls' bathroom. Shouldn't, I mean, the only reason I'm going to say, like, you can convince me of that one is because there probably are girls that can't afford them at home. So that I can make a case for, but it's kind of like, hi, Alan, what? I can understand. Well, from my understanding, apparently there was like a big revolt, and a lot of these machines were just torn out. They were just destroyed. They were ripped right out of the wall. I mean, how far are we going to take all of this? Okay, it's not a hate thing. I have no problem with however you do you. Whatever makes you feel good, do it. But kind of like my analogy of
well, just because I say, and this isn't just speaking to that, but I mean, it used to be that to call yourself a journalist, well, the bar to entry was what I would think would go without saying, which is the ability to, well, number one, you almost always had some type of degree in journalism or English communications, whatever. That you could read, write, and speak proper English. And that's all I can even think of at the moment. To call yourself a journalist. I mean, and like this documentary coming out with how did they put it? The gumshoes or some such thing. It's all well and good to listen. I have no problem understanding people's curiosity about. We're all fascinated by things that we don't understand, things that are abstract. Like most of us have never known, hopefully, a victim of a terrible crime, etc. So I understand the curiosity. I understand the morbid curiosity. However, it is absolutely, I mean, there's not many things more serious than a crime resulting in someone's death or, great bodily injury. And the first thing I always think is, well, what happens when, and it is coming, it is going to happen, and it probably won't be long, and I'm surprised it's taken this long. Somebody who having no access to any case file, proper training and education. I mean, I consider myself, I do okay, like upstairs. I do not think I would in any way be qualified to start like thinking I was capable of investigating a crime. I mean, there's a reason that you have to go to at least the police academy. And even when you go to the police academy, you don't get to just like all of a sudden be a detective second day there. No, you gotta, this whole idea that we've come to in this country where just because you say you're something, you are. And you don't want to deal with, you don't want to be bothered with getting the education that is required for a reason. And when it's something so serious as someone's family members, we're not talking about a bunch of Einsteins, okay? Would you agree? Can you imagine being in law enforcement and, a lot of times their hands are very much tied because they're governed by statute, by law. They have to, work within the parameters, the laws that are set up to protect everyone. You know, that's the gold standard. Does it always happen? No, but I always sit back and think, God, how damn disrespectful. Can you imagine? Here you are, you're a cop. You know that this asshole has done this thing. But that's not the standard, and that's not how it works. And they get very little. And listen, I'm not saying that all cops are good. I know there's dirty cops. There's bad in everything. But who do you call? Who do you call when the rubber meets the road? If someone's coming through your window at 2:00 in the morning. Who are you calling? Unless, of course, it was me in high school, and in that case, oh God, one time they showed. Oh God, woo! I had to sit. I had a little bit of time between like the 4 o'clock a.m. hour and the sun coming up, where I had to come up with a really good story. Because when I got back to my window, I'd come in at my 12 o'clock curfew, be like, oh, okay. Good night, Mom and Dad. I love you. I'll see you in the morning. Oh, yeah, it was fun. Yeah, it was nice. No, oh, no, we just went down to the beach. No, I wasn't down the street at the docks drinking beer. No. Okay, I'll see you in the morning. Oh, back then we didn't. You'd have to make your plan beforehand because we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have beepers, we didn't have any of that shit. You'd have to send a carrier pigeon. Okay, hold on. Be like, okay, my curfew is 12 o'clock. I will meet you out front at 12:17. Make sure you don't turn the lights off. Shut the engine off before you even. I came home one night, window locked. I was like, fuck. How am I going to get out of this one? Oh, I wish I could remember what I said. Oh, whatever it wasn't good enough, though. Oh, yes. I was a problem child for a while. I was a wild child, which is why I went to boarding school for a little while. Oh, that was fun. Those are some of my better stories. Oh, there is a, I know her name. I bet you she remembers mine too. Hell, she's dead by now, but I remember her name, but I'm not going to say it just to protect the guilty and the innocent. What the hell was I talking about? But like, you see these people who don't know jack shit about anything. They don't have the damn, like, they don't have the case file. They're not privy to the real evidence. They're watching the same shit all the rest of us know, which is nothing, which is what they want you to know. And here they are, probably making more money in, well, if you want to compare apples and apples, my mind always goes there. How frustrating it's got to be for a cop. Because listen, whatever it is you do in this world to earn a living, whatever it is, there is nothing, few things are as aggravating as seeing someone who you know knows a fraction of what you know, sometimes nothing. And I mean, we've all seen it. We've all seen people who say they are doing what we do, and we know they're full of shit. Now imagine watching people who don't have to operate within your constraints, who are making probably a lot more money, who are being recognized. It's just, it's so disrespectful to law enforcement for all these fucking idiots sitting around with, and I would include myself, not that I think I'm a fucking idiot, but I would never presume that because I read some shit on the internet and I watched a bunch of TV that I am more qualified and know more about the case and the details and than law enforcement. So there's that. And then what is going to happen if it hasn't already, and it will, and just hopefully it's not going to be someone is either going to not be convicted because of interference in the investigation from outside people meddling, or the inverse, which, my God, I don't know what's worse. I have no issue with people being curious, with people wanting to, research things for themselves. But it's like, great, do that. But you cannot tell me that watching stuff on the internet, reading things from the internet, etc., I don't care if you do it like every conscious moment. Well, how does that, you do not have, law enforcement always holds back details, always, of the case, so that if and when they do get somebody, because there are weirdos who want to be, they confess. Now I guess that's the next step in the tragedy pimp evolution. Like, once you can't get all your tragedy pimp recognition anymore, I guess, is that the next step? You go straight to confessing to crimes you did not commit. Hey, how else are you going to get the Daily Beast to show up on your door? But well, I would love to sit here and talk to you guys all night, and I hate to, I hate to waste a set of lashes, and I mean, I gotta say that was pretty on point eyeshadow game today. I hate to waste that. The dog does not care about any of that, and I'm on warning 1. I'm gonna wait till warning 2, but I might we might be getting 1 and 2. Oh, interesting choice of numbers. All at the same time, because typically he comes in, he looks up at me, and he does that little whine, and then he walks out. Well, this time he's did all that, but then he didn't leave. He sat at the threshold of the door and continued to whine. So, okay, I promise. So I do want to read the article, but we'll see. There may be, you guys, all I can say is here's what you have my word on. I am no longer going to contribute to what I see as a big problem. And that's all I can do. I still feel the way I feel about things. But all
all dragging and saying all the same shit, because listen, they're not getting any smarter, they're not getting any better looking, they're blah blah blah. So like, how much more, what is there left to say? There's not. There's no low that I don't think some of these people will go to. And I really like, I mean, I just don't want to do it anymore. And that's why I haven't been doing it anymore. But you know, oh shit. Damn. I broke my chair. Not for the reason you think. So listen, I hope, like, when I go live, if for no other reason than, you know, to keep me out of the, I'm running out of damn room. I'm gonna have to start stashing shit in the trunk of my car. Oh my God, I gotta do a clean out. It's, oh. So I hope that, I don't know where the hell this channel's going. That's what I'm saying. I know where it's not going. It's not going where it's not been going. And que sera, sera. I got it. And I would suggest the same to you. I mean it. There's no shame in saying, you know what? I am caught up in this shit. And this isn't, not to say I've ever been like a choir member. I have not. I can't sing. I don't like robes. I like robes, but not polyester ones. I've never been that, but I would rather just like clown people, but not like, this for me. It's a bad mix. I've played into it. They play to my useless talent, which is clowning stupid people. But this place has gotten really nasty and hateful, and I've played a part in that, and I acknowledge it, and I don't want to do it anymore, and that's why I've been trying not to do it anymore, and that's it. I don't know what else to say, but don't allow this place to turn you into something you're not. Use it for the good. Although, like I said, if you find a couple people that, you know, listen, as long as I've got a damn internet connection, right, Bob? I know. He's like, Mom, I don't know who those people are, but I gotta go. I gotta go out. Okay, now that was weird. I swear to you, I just heard, maybe it's a hairball. I could have sworn I heard something that way barking, but the only thing that barks is down here, and he's not barking. So, probably a hairball. All right, kids, I'm gonna go. I'm not even playing the exit because Bob needs to go to the bathroom. So, y'all have a good night, and I'm glad y'all came to hang out. Alan, I don't believe that. All right, pussycats, have a good night. And what is today? Oh, hell, I swear to God, I was going to say, is this Thursday? I'm always 2 days behind or 2 days ahead. I must exist in some weird, like, time warp thing. All right, everybody, have a good night. Bye, pussycats. Be good.